50 miles per hour. So looking at the track on it with that forward speed, we've got it in McIntosh by 8:23, Mount Vernon by 8:28, Tenshaw by 8:41, Bay Minette by 8:55. This is an especially bad severe thunderstorm, and the warning is up now for multiple counties, Washington, Greene, and Mobile County. We're keeping a close eye on this one here. The worst of it is where it's bowing out right here, and you can see on the velocity product where you see the blue, that's where we got the wind gust 70 to 80 miles an hour. Is capable of significant damage, also the possibility of knocking out power as this moves through. So a very strong severe thunderstorm. This is really much stronger than even an average severe thunderstorm coming through Greene County and Washington County. We'll keep you posted on Fox 10 News. We're also going to continue our coverage. You can join us on our Facebook page. Go to Fox 10 News Facebook, and we're about to take up our coverage there. So switch over to the Facebook page. We'll get you back to programming. All right, joining us here on Fox 10 News Facebook, you may already be with us here. We've got team coverage. I'm here alongside meteorologist Matt Barentine and meteorologist Nicholas Herboso here. We're tracking a storm that has especially strong winds. It's coming through Greene County, Washington County, and Mobile County, and we have even seen a destructive tag on this severe thunderstorm at times, indicating winds to near 80 miles per hour possible. It has an incredible forward speed. The forward speed here about 50 miles an hour as it heads into southern Washington County. We've got it in Mount Vernon by 8:31 this evening. There's the worst of the storm. It's bowing out right there, getting close to the intersection of Highway 17 and Highway 45. We've got it coming through right at Vinegar Bend. It's in Fruitdale now. You can see that's a little to the north. Deer Park getting hit by this severe thunderstorm. It may graze Citronelle. It's generally moving to the east, but also a little bit to the east-southeast as it heads over towards Bud Odom Road, John Johnson Road, and some of these areas like Coy Smith Highway headed your way. And there are several areas where we're showing very high velocity, and so we're getting the wind gust potentially between 50 and 60 miles an hour. National Weather Service has the warning out for 70 mile per hour winds now here on the southern edge of it. We've been expecting severe weather in our area this evening. We've seen severe weather in our area here, and we've got a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the Gulf Coast. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning, and there's even the possibility of tornadoes. We're looking at the lower end and keeping an eye on the lower end of this storm now along Old Highway 63. Then we've got embedded thunder showers here and storms. A lot of lightning in southern Clark County, northern Baldwin County, and another storm here just moving out of Escambia County, Alabama, heading over into Covington County. It has a lot of lightning with it here too. And the dynamics are in play in the atmosphere to create the potential of severe weather here this evening. We could see wind gusts up to 80 to 90 miles an hour out of some of these storms. Hail up to 3 inches in diameter. Very large hail is possible. And then, of course, we've got tons of lightning and heavy rain, and some of these storms may train over the same areas tonight, with another round possible later tonight and into tomorrow. Taking a look at what's going on here with our storm tracker, you can see that heavy thunderstorm coming through now east of Leakesville. The worst of it's actually made it through Leakesville now, but this was an especially bad storm here. It's headed towards Beverly, Jeffries Highway and Prine Road, as well as Highway 45. And with the dynamics in play in the atmosphere this evening, we actually are going to see the potential for straight line winds that could be as damaging as a EF0 or an EF1 tornado. So we've got significant wind damage possible, and it could be widespread along this band as it moves through. It is tracking due east, and there are a lot of communities that could be affected out ahead of it in northern Mobile County and southern Washington County. Extremely high reflectivity here in Vinegar Bend. We've not seen the potential for large hail with this particular storm, but we have seen what looks like at least some small hail in the storm. And looking at it with our hail tracker, looks like south of State Line near Fruitdale, we may have some hail coming across Highway 45 right now. So you can see that possible 1-inch hail headed towards Highway 45. I'll send it over to meteorologist Nicholas Herboso, whose informs all modes of severe weather are possible across the Gulf Coast this evening.
Yeah, and we've been tracking this one particular storm through Mississippi. Mississippi really the entire afternoon. And we have the hail tracker up right now, but the main threat with these storms is damaging winds. So we've noticed some interesting features on these thunderstorms as well. I'm going to take a look back at velocity in 1 second here. I'm going to get us back to velocities. I want to look at these wind speeds. It is possible that we could be dealing with a thunderstorm that is producing very, very, very strong winds. And this is the thing, you need to be prepared. If you're ahead of this storm, at least be inside. Make sure, if you have a little bit of time, if you're in places like Mount Vernon or some place like Citronelle, you need to make sure that you don't have any loose objects outside or anything on your porch that might be moving or might get blown away. So taking a look at the wind speeds right now, what we're looking for here is some of the brighter colors on the map here. And those brighter colors, talking about more of those blues, are strong winds moving towards the radar site, which is in Mobile. And that's indicating that we're probably having strong winds that has prompted this severe thunderstorm warning. Now, the winds are not as impressive as they were when this storm was in Greene County impacting Leakesville, and we're monitoring social media right now to see if we have had any reports of damage in Leakesville because the winds were incredibly strong over there, at least according to velocity. And based on how the storms have been performing today, it seems that it is very, very likely that there was some strong winds. If I back up the radar here, we take a look at this. This is what was happening in Leakesville earlier. If I show you how strong the winds were, take a look at this. Let me get to my little query tool here so I can see how strong those winds were. In Leakesville, we were talking about winds pushing 70 miles per hour. And now if we move to the present time, as we can see, still some bright colors on the radar right now. I want to bring in meteorologist Matt Barentine, who is also joining us here for team coverage on Fox 10 on Facebook. Thank you for joining us on social media, because it's a great way for you to stay updated with it. We have plenty of stuff going on right now. Big old thunderstorm now moving through southern Washington County and now approaching northern Mobile County. I'll move this around a little bit, see what's going on here. So see southern Washington County, you see this blob that is in southern Washington County. This is going to be moving through, and that's the area that we're expecting some of those damaging winds, or at least really strong gusty winds. And if I turn on the lightning, there's a lot of it currently, especially in southern Washington County. A very noisy thunderstorm out there for sure. So here we are, plenty of lightning now on 45 moving through Washington County. This thing is tracking to the east at around 45-50 miles per hour at this time. And taking a look back at velocity, we can see still some brighter colors, but maybe not the brightest colors that we have been seeing. And I'm looking kind of on social media right now at some of the different videos. Apparently this storm is producing a lot of lightning, and that makes complete sense here. If I turn on that lightning once again, it is an incredible show of lightning. These storms have been very powerful. The air is very unstable. Current temperatures are sitting around 80 degrees in Mobile right now. So it is very warm out there, even though we are now a little bit after sunset, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we're after sunset. Still very hot outside, very muggy, and that is acting to fuel these storms. You may have noticed it today. All the winds, all the winds outside, it was very hot, it was very humid. And then of course, now we have severe thunderstorms moving through the area. So meteorologist Matt Barentine is joining us now, and he is going to start talking a little bit here about these thunderstorms now moving through Washington County.
Yeah, thank you, Nicholas. Yeah, what we're looking at here, once again, the storm right through southern Washington County, all that lightning, and we do have a live shot here from Citronelle, from my Lacey Beasley, and they are hunkered down. They got that camera pointed out there at the storm there, and you can see a lot of lightning flashes once again in the sky here as the storm is approaching. Fortunately, the winds aren't as strong as they were earlier, but we are going to get a pretty significant wind gust to the leading edge of the storm. So if you're in Citronelle, obviously stay away from the windows and as this storm rolls on through. And once again, a lot of lightning here at this storm once again in Citronelle. This is the leading edge of this supercell thunderstorm, and it's a fast mover, folks. This thing is going to be flying on through, so you're not going to have to deal with it very long, but it's going to be a powerful one once it's out there. So that is Citronelle. We're getting that shot here once again from our own Lacey Beasley. And I think over in McIntosh we have Lee Peck, and he is at a looks like a gas station or a gas station there, and they are also seeing a good bit of lightning. But you do notice not as heavy of rain here as what we just saw in Citronelle. So we're not getting quite the rain in McIntosh over there on the other side of Washington County as they are over in Citronelle in the northern part of Mobile County. So that the heavy rain hasn't quite gotten there yet, but you can definitely see the flashes of lightning. So we have one here. They're actually kind of in between a couple of storms. There's one kind of moving away, another one kind of coming in here in McIntosh, and you got Citronelle, and they are right on the leading edge. If we could back off just a little bit here, we'll kind of zoom in real quick. I want to show folks where this is going to be headed from Citronelle next. It's going to be clipping through Mobile County here and kind of working its way through the northern part of the county, and then it's eventually going to kind of work its way into the northern part of Baldwin County, say north of I-10. So these are the areas that are going to see the worst of the weather here in the next little bit. And it looks like this is going to stay far enough to the north where the core of Mobile is not going to see the worst of this, and the core of the Eastern Shore, our main metro areas there right around that core, this is going to stay north of all that. So that's the good news for us in that sense, that this strong wind gust with the leading edge of the storm won't go through the urban core of the area, but it is going to be going through northern Mobile County into northern Baldwin County, just north of 65. So think Stockton and points northward there, where we're going to see the storm rolling on through, and then that'll continue on into Atmore, northern Escambia County in Florida, and likely kind of work its way basically right down the state line, it looks like, after that. And how well it holds together is yet to be seen. It has weakened here within the last hour or so. So that's the good news with that, but it's still got some pretty strong winds right now. So Nicholas is starting to kind of search around with the velocity. And right now we're seeing only around 50 miles per hour. It's once again not as much as it was earlier when it was closer to 80 miles per hour, and the National Weather Service put a destructive tag on that, and now they moved it to a considerable tag. There's couple different definitions of severe thunderstorm warnings. They go base, considerable, and destructive. Oh, Nicholas is putting that up for us. That's good to see. So there's a base severe thunderstorm warning, and then you get to considerable, and that means you get winds of 70 miles per hour and large hail. I think that's about a little bit better than golf ball sized hail. And then you get to 80 miles per hour. Well, that's the destructive tag, and then that's the monster hail in a destructive thunderstorm. So those are the different things that we watch out for. So there's several different levels, I guess you would say, here of severe thunderstorm. And once again, this is now labeled as considerable here with this one supercell thunderstorm. So it's kind of the mid-level of the severe thunderstorm warnings. And it's going to continue to work its way. Mount Vernon, you're about on the leading edge of this right now. Citronelle, I don't know if we might go ahead and take that live shot again. Look at that. Look how heavy that rain is. That's the other issue here. Obviously, this is going to cause some localized street flooding as it pulls on through with this kind of rain rate. Boy, that is some heavy rain coming down. They are up under a structure, obviously. You can see the lightning, and you can definitely see the wind, how it's blowing it basically sideways there at this point. So it's not 80 mile per hour winds, but it's still really strong winds, and it's obviously quite an ugly scene up there right now in Citronelle. Once again, that's our Lacey Beasley. She is up there, and you can see they've taken some shelter somewhere, and you can see that rain going on by. So that's, once again, they're in Citronelle right now, and they're once again dealing with that very heavy rain. Nicholas has got the velocity back up, and we're seeing probably about 50 mile per hour wind gusts. When you see the negative, that just has to deal with the wind direction, so don't worry about that. You just kind of take the negative off, and that's what we're looking at with the velocity there from the when the winds with the storm. So Highway 45 right there, you can see the heavy rain right up Boy Smith Highway, heavy rain falling here, but we saw how heavy that rain was in the shot we got from Lacey there. That is some, full-on downpour that's happening, and it's a pretty big, once again, it's a big storm, so it's going to take a while. Even though it's moving fast, it's going to take a while for it to completely move through. I don't know if we can go ahead and back things out, Nicholas. I want to kind of show a wide view here real quick, because one of the things we're worried about is what's going to be coming up behind this storm. And right now it's pretty quiet. There are some storms over around Jackson, but these look like they're going to be traveling more up around Interstate 20. So these might be just north of our area. We'll have to kind of watch over around Thomasville later on here this evening. But for now, we don't have any other storms down here. See, if there were some storms down 55 here south of Jackson, those would be the ones we'd be watching for the next rounds and whatnot. But it doesn't seem like we got any developing out there at the moment, at least. So that's good news. We don't really see much else beyond that. And if you look once again to the south of this in Mobile, it's been windy today. It's been really hot. But there hasn't been much rain, and this is going north, and it's staying north. It'll stay north of Mobile. It'll stay north of the Eastern Shore. It'll stay north of Pensacola. So sort of our urban areas here, this all will stay north of here as this continues to roll on to the east. So that's some good news there, keeping it out of the most populated areas. But for folks that are going to be dealing with this next 30 minutes or so, it's going to be a very big, nasty thunderstorm. Once again, let's get that lightning up if we could, because this is a big part of it. There it is, and a ton of lightning right now coming out of this storm in and around McIntosh, Citronelle, Mount Vernon, Tensas, all these areas. Look at that. That is a massive amount of lightning. So obviously another good reason not to be outside here either as well. So we're going to continue tracking this here as it goes through this evening. We're going to keep you up to date here on not only on our Facebook page, but of course on Fox 10 News itself. We'll be coming up at the top of the hour, letting you know if there's anything else developing out there. It's going to be kind of a long night in spots. We'll see how long we can hold on the weather here before it completely slides out. For myself and Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith and Nicholas Herboso, thank you so much for joining us here. We'll be tracking here all through the night.